Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel Made with Love. My name is Heather, and in today's video I am going to be making my fall or autumn gnome. So I'm going to move my camera down so you can see what I'm doing. So I just had to do some measuring. So I've decided, let's move that cord out of the view. I've got this, like it's a velour, velvety type of material. It's kind of this really interesting, like a golden color. And because I made her little boots earlier, and they've got the little things with like, looks like sunflowers, but it's such a perfect color. Like they look like they match together. So I'm going to make her dress out of this piece of material. This piece is about 14 by 14. I'm just going to lay it down. I decided to, for her dress, I'm going to make it very simple and easy. I'm just going to do a poncho, kind of a cape, kind of a draping dress. Just going to angle my camera here, sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to use my charger, which, you know, fits on here good. And I'm just going to take my Sharpie, and I'm just going to roughly just trace out the circle. Okay, so I've got a circle kind of traced out, so I'm just going to cut my circle out. I'm not being very careful, I'm just trying to do a rough job at the moment. I just want to see if this is the right size for her dress. So I haven't even done any measurements. I've never actually made my gnome's clothes before. I usually just, you know, a cone of some kind or this pool noodle, and I've just kind of like used the socks or just pieces of square or rectangle fabric to kind of just cover it and make their hat. But this time I thought, no, I'd really like to make a little girl gnome, and I'd really like to make a dress. The cat is trying to get up beside me. I'm just going to move stuff out of his way. There. I'm just going to cut this out quickly and just see if this will work. I know I want to give her arms and legs, because I was watching all these different people who make these gnomes and they give them legs and arms, and I'd like to do that just so the gnomes don't just all look like these straight little stick figure kind of things. Okay, so I've got this chunk of pool noodle, which I believe it is 5 inches high. Nice of this material. Okay, so I cut it so it kind of like drapes down. That doesn't really look like anything at the moment. Let's see. Pull it down. I don't like the way it's looking. But let's see. I've got this basic circle. I'm just going to find the center of it and try to put the center in the center of where she would be and see if that looks a little bit better. If I actually push it down, it kind of like flows a little bit better. Starting to look a little bit like a dress or poncho now. I think it's still just a little too big, but I've got the general size that I'll need. So I'm just going to fold this in half. I'm just going to see about, let's see. Oops. Yeah, so it's about 13 inches in diameter. 6.5, yeah. So it's about 13 inches, which might be just a little bit too big at the moment, but that's okay. I don't want to cut it down till I know exactly how I'm gonna make it work. I'm just gonna get the body back in here. I'm just gonna See, like, I don't need, like, I want the nice front to be flowing. I don't care much about how the back looks. I can, you know, like do extra gluing, extra, you know, bring stuff to the back because that's going to be all hidden. But I just want to make it look like she's got a nice dress on, but I want to give it like a flowy dress. So when she's standing with her boots, you can see her boots with her dress. And then of course her hat will be on, and her hat will pull everything down. So I've got to figure out, you know, like how much do I really need of this to cover. So I'm just going to see if I fold this in half, and I'm just going to wrap it. Just wrap it if it will fit better. Let's see, in half. So it kind of gives this cape pattern, like a cape looking in the front or in the back, but then it's so straight and it just kind of like sticks to her and just got no movement to it. So looks like that, but I want it a little bit bigger and fluffier and to move. So I thought if I draped it, I'd have some extra material to work with. So I'm just going to play around with this for a couple minutes and figure out which way I like it, because I just don't want the material to be just so tight. Then there's no point in, you know, making a little girl gnome, because then I might as well just cover this with a sock again like I've done with all my other ones. So I'll be right back when I figure out how to put this on so it looks like a dress. Okay, so what I did was I just put the pool noodle in the center, and I traced it and I cut out the center part. And then I thought, oh yeah, it's like a dress, you kind of have your head. Well, I cut it, but this material is a little bit different, and it's just a little, I don't know if I can angle this better. Okay, so just, you can see, like, I cut the hole just a little too big. So, but when you've got a poncho, so I think what I'll do is I'm just going to take this, I'm just going to cut straight up to the center, like that. So now I've got like this circle, like a poncho, more or less, like that. So now I'm just going to take this, because I was liking the way that it was starting to, you know, drape around, and it started really looking like a dress. So I'm just going to do this. Let's go like this, and yeah, that is what I was trying to do. Just kind of get more like this flowy skirt kind of a look to it. And then this way, you know, like, I can still do her hat, but her hat does not have to be like all the way down here holding it. Her hat could be further up, so you get a really nice long dress, and I'll make an extra big hat for her. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just gonna stop for a second because I gotta plug my glue gun back in and grab some more glue sticks. Okay, and also just so her dress matches her shoes, because these are the little boots I'm gonna use, they've got the little faux fur trim. I decided I'm gonna put a little faux fur trim on her dress as well. I'm just gonna pull this out. I don't knit, so sometimes I pull the yarn from the wrong spot, and I always forget that you pull from the inside. So sometimes my yarn is all tangled because I don't knit, so I don't use yarn for that. I use yarn for other crafts. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring this around. I don't know how much of this material I'm actually going to be needing once I get to the back of her, because I do know that it does overlap, but I'm just gonna put the fur around the whole circle. I'm just gonna start here at this spot here, put a good blob of the hot glue down, find the end of my fur, and just start gluing this down. I'll be right back when I finish gluing this all the way around. Okay, so I've glued the fur all the way around, and then I glued a small chunk up the side so that it kind of overlaps. It'll kind of make it look like it's a finished fronted edge of her cape or her dress. So now I'm just going to take my glue, hot glue, and I'm just gonna start to just glue let's just start to glue this around the pool noodle. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep gluing this all the way around, and I'll show you why. Because the way that this overlaps a bit, so I decided to give a nice finished edge here, so you can see like that'll be like the front part of her dress. Look like that. So I'm just going to continue gluing this around the pool noodle, and I'll be back for the next step. Okay, so I got this almost all glued, and I've got this little flap here, so I'm just gonna glue it all the way around to there. I'm just gonna keep gluing to finish this off right to there. There, that's her little dress, and I really like the way it flares out. I'm just going to grab her little shoes just so you can see that when she's standing on her shoes. Oops. Get this lined up. There. I know you can still see like the pool noodle. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use some little, what are they? The little wooden dowels just to hold this up. So then when she's standing there, so I'll make her, I'll cover the dowels in some nice material that will match this, but just so she's got some height so you can see the top of the boots. Like it wouldn't be like this high up. I'm just trying to show, so you can see the boots, but just enough so that you'll be able to see that there is like, like the fur around the boots and the fur around her dress. Just gonna set this aside to let this glue all set up. And I said it doesn't matter what this part up here looks like because we'll still have to make her hat. So I'll be back when I'm ready to make her hat. Actually, I missed another step because I was busy figuring out the shoes. This part here, I'm gonna glue this down. So I'm just gonna take glue gun. I'm just going to take this part of this fabric here. Just going to put some glue down here. And just glue this right down. And then I'm just going to, so then the front, then it's not going to keep lifting up. And then I've left a little bit of this fur, faux fur stuff a little bit long. So now I'm just going to, from underneath, just gonna glue it kind of underneath so it kind of helps hold it all in place. I'm just gonna lift this up, put a blob of the glue. I'm just gonna pull the fur yarn down underneath. And then when this goes down, there, I'm just gonna fix that like that. Just kind of holds it all together. And of course, if you go around where it does overlap in places, I'm just gonna kind of glue this one little spot right here where these two edges kind of overlap, just so it's looks a little bit neater, and it kind of holds it all together and kind of out of my way for the next step. I see glue hanging down. Okay, so I'm just going to glue that on, and I guess I'll be right back for the making her hat. Okay, now back for the hat. I have this piece of this navy blue material. It's a little bit lighter than the boots, but it will tie the boots in with the rest of the it will tie the boots in with the rest of her outfit. Okay, so I just gotta figure out how tall I would like her hat to be. Just got this material. I'm just trying to move things around here without dropping everything off my little table I'm using. So, I just gotta figure, okay, she's gonna be that tall. I need her hat to be, let's see, she's 5, so I want the hat to sit about half an inch down. So let's see, probably if I do it maybe 7 inches. Let's see if I can. Just trying to remember how to fold to get the hat pointed. So go like this. And that will give me, okay, about 9 inches. Okay, so that's the size I need. I'm just gonna find a better piece of this material where it's not so dirty looking. But now I've just kind of, so I was cutting that other material, and I've got these little gold flecks in here. That's okay. I will just have to get the lint brush and fix that. So let's see. I think if I wanted it there to there, that looks about right. So I'm just gonna find where I put my scissors. I'm gonna loosely cut this off. Doesn't need to be perfectly straight at the moment because we're gonna be gluing it in half. Now it has this little part where it's been stitched. I'm just deciding, do I want that stitched to be on the outside? You get this nice little stitch in her hat, will look like it's already finished. Which I kind of like that. Okay, so you take the hat, just the side, okay, that's got the, whereas the outside is facing down, just gotta do that. Oops. I'm just trying to line this up. I had figured it out and then I've moved it and now I can't figure this out again. Okay, so I want this to stay like this. So this part here, so I need to glue this down onto here. So I'm just going to put a strip of glue all the way down. And just fold this corner over like that. I only have to glue one piece down, so I'm going to trim this excess fabric off because I didn't know how much I was going to need. So basically you're just taking a square and you're just folding it so you get a diagonal, so you get a kind of like a triangle, like if you're tying like a bandana. I've got that glued down in place. Now I'm just going to take it, I'm just going to fold it over right side now. You don't want to go too fast or too hard because you don't want to split the glue apart. Which is why sometimes I sew this. I'm going to use my scissors to kind of get this point out. Point out. I got this one side, but I realized that I needed both sides to be with that white stitching, but that's okay. I think I'm just gonna bring her over and make sure that I got this the right size anyways. So bring her hat in. That's the right size, but I just gotta trim this extra part here off. So I'm just going to, I got my glued edge, so this is the back. So now I have to make it even. So I'm just going to lay it like this. I'm just going to, I guess all this white stitching will be cut off. So I'm just going to hold this down. I'm just going to snip straight across. I'm using my ruler just so I get in. It's not working very good either. Okay, just trying to get a nice, just trying to snip this off so it's more even. My scissors don't want to cut this material for some reason. A little bit better. I'm just going to find the back and I'll lay this down. I just got to even this up just a little more. It's a little more even. Still a little crooked. Okay, well, I'll fix that in a few minutes. I'm just going to retry this on and see if that's a good size of hat for her. There. Get her hat to kind of curve down. Like that. And she needs her nose. So I'm just going to grab my little tub of wooden beads here. I'm just going to grab her little nose, just kind of stick it right here, just so I know where it's kind of going to go. Just want to make sure it looks right. Like that. The hat looks good. I'm just going to touch up the hat. I think, I don't know if I want to put any fur on the hat. Instead, I might, let's see, oops, everything's caught. Okay, I might do a strip of the yellow on here. I kind of think I like that. I might do 2 strips of the yellow along here, or I do have these thicker beaded ribbon. Let's see if I do 2 of this. I'm just going to fold this in half just so I can see how this will look across here. The white beads, or can I do with that one? I'm not sure. I'll think about it and I'll be right back when I've got this actually cut a little bit straighter, and I'll decide which of the beads I'm going to stitch on or glue on. Okay, I've decided. I really like the fur, so I'm going to glue the fur on her hat. will tie this gnome in with all my other gnomes because they all have this fur on their hats. So I'm just going to put a strip of glue, and I'm just going to glue this full fur yarn in place. I really like the way this looks. If you can't decide, always do what you always like the best. There's too many options sometimes, you just can't figure out. That's usually what I do. I just say, well, what do I like? What have I always done? It's usually what I end up doing. There's her hat. Like I said, like I will take my lint brush and I will go over and get all this extra stuff off of it. Oops, missed a little chunk of it here that didn't get glued down. There. So there's her hat. Had it all go in the same direction, just making sure that there's no clumps of glue in the fur. And like I said, I will take my lint roller and I'll go over top of the hat because of all the little flyaway cut pieces that come off of the other material. So now that my glue is set up, I'm going to try to push this point out just a little further, there, a little more pointed. So there's her hat, just a little chunk of glue stuck in there. So there's her hat, and they match her boots, and of course her dress. Now I've got one thing I have to figure out before I put all this together. And that, of course, is what I put the dowels, because I said I really like it when she sits on here. You can be able to see the fur of her boots and kind of look like she's got legs, so she's a little bit taller. So I just have to figure out how long I need to cut my dowels. So I'll be back when I've got that figured out. Okay, so you got to put the dowel into the shoe, and then where I kind of want her to have how much inches of her legs shown, so to be about there, and then I need some stick to put in. So I've measured, I'm going to cut the dowel to about 4.5 inches. So I've got them scored. I just kind of use my scissors to score. I will be going down to the garage and finding the saw and cutting the dowel down to that right size. And then I will have to cover the dowel, I'm not sure in what yet, to kind of, some type of like a fabric. Maybe I'll just use the same blue that I used for her hat. So she's wearing like leggings or stockings or something. Just so it's not like the actual, so you don't actually notice it's actually just a dowel for her legs. So I'll be doing that as well. But then also I have to do is you gotta put the dowel in. So I've also got to go and get the floral foam, because I always find the floral foam, you put a chunk of the floral foam in here and it will actually, you push the dowel in and it will really give it some stability, floral foam and hot glue. So I gotta go finish doing that. Like I said, for her hat, I went with the fur. I like the way everything is starting to look now. I've got her dress and her hat and her boots. And I just got to work on her legs. I'm just going to go cut the dowel and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got the chunk of floral foam and I've got my dowels roughly cut to 4.5 inches. So I'm just going to figure out, see how much foam I'll need to put down inside there. I don't have my X-Acto knife, so I'm just going to use my scissors. I'm just going to slice through. And I'm just going to start stuffing floral foam. That's going to be too tall, so I need to make it half that. Just gonna cut that in here. I'm going to cut some of that off. I'm just going to retry to put this down inside here. Just kind of gives the dowel something to poke into. Same with this chunk here. Just going to push that chunk in there. So I'm done with the floral foam for now. I think I'm just going to blow some of the floral foam out of the fur. Okay. I'm just going to take my dowels and I'm just going to stick them in to the floral foam like that just for now. I will be gluing them in a minute, but right now I gotta figure out where this is gonna stand. I'm just gonna flip her dress like this for a second so I can see kind of like need the feet down. So how wide apart? So probably there and there. I'm just going to set this aside. I'm just going to take this, put this upside down, so now I know that. So let's see. Just so I don't get these mixed up, I'm just going to, so that's her right foot. No, that's her left foot, that's her right foot. So when I flip her, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, I got the other chunk of dowel, just so I can kind of figure out where I need to kind of poke it in. I don't know how far I'm going to go, but just take the scissors just so I can get it kind of started in there. I'm just going to use this chunk of dowel just to make sure that it's wide enough so I can get here. Now I'm just going to, this floral foam is now everywhere. Okay, I'm just going to stick the dowels in so I can see, make sure it looks right. Okay, my tip because they're a little crooked. There, I just turn a little bit. See, it's hard because I'm trying to show you guys what it's going to look like, but I don't have it quite lined up. Like that. So when you lift it up, you'll be able to see that her boots have the fur trim. Now what I will do is I'm going to take a little bit of material and just kind of cover the bottom bit of this down with some lace. And then I'm just going to put some the other blue material on the dowels. So I'll be back when I get that done because you guys don't need to watch me cut lace and glue a strip of lace around here and glue some of the blue material on the dowels, and then I'll be putting hot glue in the dowels, inside the shoes, and in the pool noodle just to get the legs on. When I'm ready to put her hat, her hair, and her nose, then I will be back. Okay, so for the dowels, I decided I just need a little bit, you know, how far it goes in the boot to where it goes into the pool noodle. So I cut myself a strip. It's 2 inches by 4.5 inches. So I'm just going to take the glue, just gonna put a strip of glue on it. And I'm just going to wrap the strip around the dowel. And as I wrap it, it's getting thicker. Now I'm just, every couple times I've wrapped it around, I'm just putting a little line of hot glue just so it kind of holds it into place. And one final thing of hot glue at the end. It kind of makes it look like she's wearing blue leggings or stockings. Now that I'm just going to press in. It's going to sit like that. So now I've got this done. So now I'm going to pour some glue into the thing, into the hole of the floral foam. Oops, I'm just going to put the dowel in like that. So I'm just going to do that for both the legs. So it's not going to take too long. I'm just going to put a piece of hot glue, a strip of hot glue, and then just kind of center it, you know, at equal distance from both sides. And this material is a little bit different. I found this material and it's got this texture to it, and it really does look like stocking or leggings. It actually kind of feels like it too. I don't know what this material used to be. I've got a couple squares of it. Like that. Like I said, just wrapping it around a couple times thickens it up, so now it's not quite so thin like the dowel. Just going to make sure that this fits in good. I can push that down. Okay. Oops. Some of that foam just kind of came out of its place. I'm just going to pour some of this hot glue down inside. Push the dowel down inside like that and like that. So now we've got her legs done. Now I couldn't find any lace. I can't get to my lace, my ribbons that I had. So what I've decided is I'm just going to take a strip of the blue, just kind of put it on just a little bit down. Not sure, I haven't quite measured yet, but I'm just going to glue a strip of it just down and around like this, and I'm like that. Just going to let it hang just a little bit over the pool noodle, just a little bit, just to kind of hide the pool noodle from everybody's view. Now, if she's sitting up on the shelf, then it looks like she's got, you know, like layers of clothes on. So I'll be back when I get that done, and then I will do her hat and her hair and her nose. Alright, I've got her legs glued in place, and I've glued this little bit of this blue material down and around. Kind of stuck it down around there too, and it looks like she's got actual legs, and she's wearing like clothes. Now it looks like she's wearing this little fall cape. So now I'm going to do her hat. I'm just going to lift her, sorry, just trying to lift this up a little so you can see here. So I'm just going to line this up. So there's the seam, goes to the back. And this is, because I've got her legs in like that. So this would be like a cape where it's kind of done up a little bit off to the side, so it's not going to be directly in the center. So now I'm just got the, like this, just pull this down just a little, so I can make sure it's all even here and it's all pulled down. So now I'm just going to take her hat, I'm just going to set it on here. like that. Just gonna figure out which way her hat is going to bend. I have to push it down, and I just got to turn it around so I can see from my side, like that, and then where her nose is gonna go. Hat wants to fall that way, so maybe I'll stick her nose right there. I kind of want the hat to flip the other way. I'm just gonna glue her nose in place. I know the cat is just slipping because I don't have it glued into place yet. I'm just gonna put a little dab of glue on top of her nose. A little dab on either side of the nose so I can get the hat stuck to her nose. Now I can just slowly start to glue the hat on. Just gotta add another glue stick. It's kind of hard to add glue sticks sometimes one-handed. I was worried if I let go of this, her hat is just gonna slide off and her nose is gonna fall off, and I'll have to restart all that. Just gonna keep going around here and pulling her hat in place as I glue it on. I'm not so worried if her hat kind of falls, if her hat slips up a little bit in places. It's not fully glued down yet. Just gonna make sure I get around to the front and it's glued down her nose. There. Now I just have to do her hair. She looks so cute. I don't know if she needs hair. She's got so much of this stuff here. Oops, this hat is kind of pulled up a little at the back. It's okay. I'll tuck her hat. I'm just going to bend her hat like this. I'm just going to do a cute little curve for her hat. Kind of like, just trying to get this hat to bend the way I want it to, because it wants to curl. I kind of like it like that. Okay. So I'm just going to glue her hat into place. Like I said, it just wants to push in because the way I pulled it around the pool noodle. Maybe it doesn't need to. I don't know. I don't know if I like it straight up. So I kind of have the hat kind of, I pulled it so it's not, so the seam is not directly in the back. The seam is a little off-centered. So if I put a little bend in it, then you won't notice it. So something like that. I'm just going to put a little dab of glue just back here. So it kind of holds it back here. So it kind of holds its shape kind of where I want it to fall. Like that. Now she needs some little embellishment on her hat, so I'm just going to see what I have here. She kind of wants to tip a little. That's okay, I'll fix that in a few minutes too. Yeah, I don't know about adding hair to her. I think she might need it, but she's got a lot of fur on her. Just got to figure out maybe what I'll do for hair. I'm just going to figure this out, but she needs something in her hat to tie everything in together. I have these little floral, little paper roses, that's what they're called. I know her shoes are in yellow, her dress is yellow, her cat is blue. I don't think I have anything that shade of blue. I do have this big flower with a little gem. Maybe, let's see. Like I said, I do have this little daisy. Let's see. Maybe that's what I will do. I will use this little daisy from the Easter basket thing. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like the way this looks. I'll put a big blob of glue just because I cut the stem off and I don't want it to fall. I just want it to be right at the edge. The petals are white and the inside of the flower is the yellow gold color. It matches, just ties everything in. Oh, there's my little gnome. It's taken me all day to make 3 pairs of shoes and the one gnome, but you know, it's fun. My kids are at school. I had no little day-home kids today, so it's fun to just, you know, do some crafting where you don't have to think about anything. You kind of make up things as you go along. Now, one thing I did was I did cut some off because I wasn't sure if I was going to use it, but I have this wedding pearl ribbon. It is in 4 strands. And it does look like buttons, and so I did cut a strip, you know, a couple little strips off. And I thought maybe I would add like a button on her little cape here, but I don't think it needs it. I don't think she needs anything else. So now I'm just gonna grab the lint roller and clean off her hat, and I'm gonna set her on my fireplace mantle, and I will show you what she looks like completely so you can see it. Okay, so there's what she looks like. I really like the way she looks. I think I'm going to leave her as is. I don't think I'm going to add any hair to her. But I will say that when you do get down looking, I have her on this table, because when she's up on the fireplace mantle, you can tell that it's a pool noodle because her dress kind of doesn't cover all the pool noodle. But I still would like to just find my lace. I got like a thick, like 2-3 inch ribbon lace that I still would like to add just to give her like, it looks like she's got like a lace skirt underneath her little cape here. But that is what she looks like. I'm just going to move her on top of the fireplace mantle just so you can see different light. There she is. Okay, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's subscribing and watching and enjoying my videos, and I will look forward to seeing in my next video. Bye.